The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my active project, which, as we've mentioned, there is more than one way to do that. I'm going to go to this top left selection bar, and I'm going to change my project to a Region 1 project, which I have permission to view, which is 25806. Go ahead and enter your PCN that you have permissions to view within your region or the agency. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Tab. And as you can see, it's now said, yes, I found that project. It's within Region 1 and 25806 I-25 resurfacing, milepost 208 to 213. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Give it just a second. All right, and we should now see in that top left bar that my active project is now 25806. Again, it'll read whatever PCN that you just entered. So what I want to do now is I want to view the project schedule, the pre-construction project schedule for 25806. There's a couple ways I could go about that. One would be to go on my left-hand bar to, of course, Schedules and Schedules. Instead of doing that, what we'll do instead is we'll go to our guided help, and we'll let our guided help show us how to pull the project schedule. So if I'm going to click on guided help down here on the bottom left, how can we help you? And I'm just going to start typing in the word schedule. And you can see it's giving us some different options here. We've got some web-based options, which will take us to the PMWeb website, which Maggie demonstrated for us earlier. I can set up a schedule. If I was a project manager working on my project and I wanted to actually begin a schedule from scratch, I might pick that option. In this case, being a specialty unit at headquarters or in the region, what I want to pick is this status schedule. I just really want to look at this and review it. So I pick status schedule. And now it's going to guide me. It says, okay, why don't you go ahead and open a saved record. This record number is an active link. In this case, I only have one record to choose from. There could be multiple schedules per project. If that's the case for you, what you want to do is go to this project schedule column, and you see how this box is checkmarked. The box that has the checkmark is usually the correct schedule that the PM has entered. They might have entered a draft schedule early on in the scoping process. There could be a number of reasons why you might have more than one record here. And of course, you can look at the status date as well. It is typical that the most recently statused schedule is the one that you want to be looking at. But in this case, we just have the one. So we're going to go ahead and click that active link. And now the guided help is saying, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, I just want to look at it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and X out of this because I'm now on the screen that I want to be on. So I'll close out of guided help for now. And I'm going to go ahead and expand. You see my arrow here in these columns. I'm going to go ahead and expand that task column so I can actually read it. And then we have a scroll bar here on the right-hand side. So for example, if I want to look at the advertisement date for 25806, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down until I get to my ad and contract. And here we have the advertisement date of November 14th, 2024. Along with the late ad date of February 6, 2025. So at this point, we have now successfully viewed the project schedule along with the associated milestones for our active project. Okay, so what we have just done is we have viewed a single project schedule. Let's now say that we want to view project milestones contained within multiple schedules for multiple projects. In that case, we are going to go to our dashboards and reports on the PMWeb main page. The way that we do that is we're going to go to our PMWeb logo in the top left. Go ahead and click on that. And again, PMWeb will take just a second or two to refresh. Clicking on that logo brings us back to the PMWeb main page. And in this case, we're on our home. And I'm going to go over just a couple spots on this top dash or top bar to the dashboards and reports. Go ahead and click on that. And once you're in your dashboards and reports, we want to go down to the bottom right where it says Dashboards Power BI, and we're going to select this PMWeb Combined Dashboard application. And what that's going to do is that's going to kick us into the Power BI environment into what's called the Program Delivery app. So go ahead and click that. It may ask you to log in, which we've gone through the login procedure for Power BI in a previous video. It's your last name, first initial, same as your login credentials, at dot.state.co.us. Again, same password as your computer login or your Windows login. And now here we are. We are in the Program Delivery application. And what we want to do is we want to navigate to our project milestones, our schedule milestones, and we want to take sort of a programmatic view of that. So what we're going to do, right now we're in the project management menu. I want to use this caret and expand my program management menu. And you can see right here, we've got a selection for schedule milestones. So let me go ahead and select that. And here we are. Right now, I am pretty much looking at an agency-wide view of all of our project milestones. I kind of want to narrow that down, but let's get oriented first into the type of data that we're seeing, and then we're going to use our filters here off to the right to narrow these down to a programmatic and eventually a residency level view of our projects and their milestones to sort of get a gauge on our programmatic health. How are we doing meeting those project milestones? So as you can see here, we've got a number of columns, including the business manager's advertisement date, the status date of that information, the project status, and then, of course, all of our various milestones leading all the way through to the end of construction. Another important piece of data we want to make sure to be cognizant of is what date was this data last refreshed or last updated. We see here the date of September 29th, 2025. That happens to be the exact same day as I'm recording this video, so we know that our data is current and up to date as of this morning. But as we say, there's a lot of data here. We're not actually interested in every single project in the entire agency, so let's start filtering these down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of expand that filter bar out, just a left click, drag and drop. So what types of filters do we have available to us? Well, we've got the region. We can actually search by the PCN or by the sub-account, add by state, etc. And of course, you can go on down. We've got the residency, we've got the program. So let's start doing some of this filtering to get this into a more manageable list. We'll start with filtering by region. Let's say I'm interested in Region 2 projects only. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that. And of course, we see our list automatically updates to now only be displaying projects from Region 2. Now you'll notice we also have headquarters or statewide projects available here. So if you're interested in an ITS project or another statewide effort, you also have those available to you. But for now, we've just picked Region 2. I'll go ahead and use this caret to collapse that. And let's come down here a little bit and let's actually search by program. If I expand that program engineer, it's going to give us all of the program engineers for Region 2. And it's actually got Karen Verdelay here, who is actually Region 3. I'm not quite sure what that is, but let's pick one of John Hall's residencies here. So I'll go ahead and select John Hall. Again, I'm going to collapse that. So now we're only looking at John Hall's program within Region 2. And let's finally drill down a little bit further. Let's go to our resident engineer filter. And here we should have all the residencies under John Hall's program. And let's select Andy Steckline's residency. It says here there should be 9 projects for us to view. Collapse that. And here we are. We've got all of Andy Steckline's projects within Region 4, within that residency, in John Hall's program. So we're seeing, again, the status, whether it's pre-construction or construction. Why is it doing that? Well, because we've got those selected in this project status filter. If I was only interested in construction or only interested in pre-construction, obviously we could select those as we would like. But here we're looking at both. And then we've got our scoping, FIR, FOR, advertisement, late ad, beginning of construction date, and end of construction date. So here we go. At a glance, I can see the schedule milestones for each project within this residency, within that program, and I can make a printout of that or do whatever I need to do with that information. I can also export it out. If I should choose to do that, I can export it as an Excel file, PowerPoint, PDF. Another option, and this holds true for pretty much anything we do in Power BI, is once you're logged in, and now I've got this view exactly where I want it. If I intend to come back to this view regularly, one thing that I can do is head up here to this Bookmarks tab. If I expand that caret for the bookmark, I can add a personal bookmark. And what that does is if I were to select that, and let's call that Andy Steckline R2. If I go ahead and save that, now anytime I come back to this page and I want to refresh this view, it's saved for me as a bookmark. So let me show you what I mean here. We're going to refresh all of these filters, and I do that with this Refresh Visuals button. We're going to select all of the residencies. So we now have all of the programs selected, all of the residencies selected. Let's go ahead and we'll select all of our regions. So we're kind of back to the view that we started with all of the projects displaying. If I go up to my bookmarks and I go to that bookmark that I saved, Andy Steckline R2, that immediately refreshes all of those filters, and now I'm just looking at those projects within Andy's residency. So save as many personal bookmarks as you would like. Each time you log back in, you have access to those bookmarks. And that is basically how we view multiple project schedule milestones within a program, within a residency, within a region, and we can do that all at one glance.